How's it going, folks? What about you? Welcome back to another episode. Just reading World of Nishikoi magazine, without a shadow of a doubt, the best magazine on the market for the koi world. To be honest, I have absolutely boatloads to do, boatloads to get on with, but I'm procrastinating the absolute hell out of it. As I've been away with work, had a conference for the last couple of days at the Belfry Golf Club, and I realised that you need a mortgage to buy a round of drinks. They're absolutely colossal money. I don't know where they get off. So I'm glad to be back and get on with a little bit of koi work. I did buy volume 5 of that, which is the most recent one, and I read it cover to cover, absolutely loved it. So I sent off and bought the previous four magazines by Liam, and they've arrived. I mean, absolutely awesome. The whole way it's packaged, every way it's done. I mean, you get a little handwritten letter and everything else that comes with them. So he's definitely next level quality there with that magazine. He's definitely doing things right. Absolutely love it. But this is not an advert for that. I've got so much to get on and do. So let's get on. So the first job I've got to get on and do today is clean the old Nexus. I want, turn the pump off. I want to try and put things into winter mode as well, so that I can start to drop the temperature on the pond. I think I have it set at 18 degrees at the minute, and I want to slowly drop it down. I was waiting for them to get through the colour food that I have in the auto feeder. It's pretty much through. There's still a little bit left in the bottom, and I don't want to be feeding that food below 18 degrees, and I think the heater's keeping it just over 18 at the minute. So I slowly want to take that down to winter them. I want to get them down to about 12, which is the lowest we're going to go. I'm not going to put any covers on, simply because I don't have any, and I plan to build a roof over the pond next year, and then I'll think of some way where I can enclose it in next year, hopefully. That's pretty much why the back wall along here on the outside of the pond is painted black. I know Lee Hadfield was telling me to stop being a tight horse and to clad it in the cedar. I don't know whether that would be too much cedar. It's got nothing to do with being tight, Mr. Hadfield. It is simply, I don't know what way I'm going to fabricate the roof, and the last thing I want to do is clad the whole lot in cedar and then start having to cut bits of it out to put posts against the wall or whatever. So as I haven't decided what's going to happen there, I just painted it black to make it look a bit better for the meantime. So always changing the pond, and I want to try and save myself from wasting any money if I can. Who knows, it may well be cladded in cedar when the roof goes on. Who knows? And I may close in the back part along this edge of the pond as well. I may fence that in. So I've got so much to do. As I said, I'm going to go on and clean the Nexus. Once that's dropped, then I'm going to bypass my drum, isolate my bio chamber, and I'm going to put some KoiMasters Advantage in the pond. I know there's a lot of talk about clays and everything else out there on YouTube at the minute. I just know that one, it's not a clay, but two, it definitely works. I've been using it for 10 years at least. I used to sell it, I used to market the product, because literally Chris Masters had invented it. It was never really marketed to a high standard, to be honest. He used to give me it for free when I was, buying fish off him and food off him and everything else. And I had that much belief in the product that if you could get this into people's ponds, it would absolutely blow up. So a few years ago I started branding it and marketing it on his behalf, and yeah, it did blow up. I've sold over 5,000 buckets. I don't sell it anymore. I don't have the time, really, to be honest. I've got my own business interests on that take up the majority of my time. But I've got 5,000 customers that have purchased it off me, and all are positive reviews. I don't think it likes the drum very well. I think the issue with drums and water conditioners is a complete waste of time, because drums just strip it out of the water far too quickly before it has a chance to do its thing. So I mix it up, bypass my drum for a few hours, and then obviously I isolate the bio chamber from the bypass drum, because I don't want any waste. I know I'm pretty old school when it comes to filtration. Mechanical first, biological second. Try and run the biological as slow as you can. Try and run the mechanical as fast as you can if possible. And I don't want, you know, contaminated water going into the bio chamber really. I don't want the solid fish waste and everything else. You know, there are people out there now that are saying, yeah, it's good, it makes no difference, it helps promote bacteria growth and blah, blah, blah. That may be correct, but I just do what I know has worked for me over the years. So my mechanical waste gets isolated, and the drum, the water will just flow through that straight back to the pond. This big bio unit here will be isolated, and I'll literally just have the shower going over. I'll put BackoPlus in here, 100 ml, and I'll let that go around the filtration for a few hours while this is isolated, and it will really be the work of the Nexus to get all the KoiMasters out of the pond. So that's the first job today. So I'm just going to go on and get that done, and I will pick you legends up really when it's clean. I mean, we're looking absolutely disgusting in here now. So yeah, catch you in a bit, folks. So while the Nexus is just bubbling away behind me there for its second clean, I will get my dosage of KoiMasters ready to go in the pond. I recommend use this at 100 grams per 1,000 gallon, which I have 4,800 gallon out there, but I'll sort of put about 600 grams in. I like to give it a good heavy dose. So So just grab some water from the pond there and mix that up, let it settle. Nearly time to drop the Nexus again after its second boil over there. So yeah, about 600 grams in this bucket I use for my pond, and then I'll just bypass the drum, isolate this chamber, and then add this magic stuff to the pond really. So I'll just get on with isolating the bio chamber now. Shut off the valve here that leads from the drum to the bio. I always let the pump run a little bit longer because I like to drop the water level slightly as my top up that goes through all my dechlorination agents slowly trickles into that. And I've been caught out in the past where I didn't run the water down a bit, and when I left it for 3 hours it filled the chamber up far too much, and all the moving bed on one side overflowed into the static bed, and it's an absolute nightmare when that happens. So I try to make sure that doesn't happen. So before I shut the pump off and shut the valve off on the return to the pond, I'll just let it pump a bit of water out first. But bypassing the drum's pretty simple. There's just a couple of these in a couple of holes on the dirty side of the drum that I pop out, and that lets the water flow freely straight through the drum. But like I said, as that's dirty water, that will literally just be going straight back to the pond through the 30 thou pump that I have, and it will not make it into the bio unit. So happy days. I just need to put 100 ml of the old BackoPlus into the bio unit while it's circling over this shore, and that's definitely enough. The water dropped, so I'll turn the pump off and close this valve over here to stop the water returning back through the pump. And then grab my jug and my old bottle of Stinky. Absolutely awful to try and get into these. And yeah, chuck 100 ml in here, and I'll just keep recycling over this media in the shower and in the bio chamber for a few hours while I let the Nexus perform its love-making duties with the KoiMasters Advantage that I have here in this bucket, which is not in the pond yet. So, because my skimmer feeds directly into my Nexus, and I want the majority of my KoiMasters in the Nexus, to be honest, because I think it's in there that the coagulation works best. Once the Nexus has all been cleaned, I just pour this direct into the skimmer, and that makes sure the very first pass of it all goes into the Nexus. So there you have it, folks. That's my water conditioning process. I kind of do that every fortnight, twice a month. While I'm talking there, I just got to turn you around and show you this sky. Don't know if it'll pick it up on the... I'm trying to avoid a little bit of a storm here, but yeah, it's kind of coming and going. But I kind of do that once every sort of 2 weeks, and in the alternate weeks of the KoiMasters and the BackoPlus treatment, I use the Detox Formula and the Envirex formula. The reason I started using those is because I think I had a little bit of an issue with heavy metals in the pond. Changed out the carbon in my big blue, as you've seen on a previous video, for the bone char stuff, and when reading up, people seem to be having a lot of positive effects with the Detox formula, so I've been using that for probably a couple of months now, every fortnight. And I don't know whether it's since turning the pond down to 18 degrees from 23. That kind of coincided of when I started using those two products, but the fish just seem a lot happier. The colour food has definitely done fantastic for the colours. The benny on the fish, they're looking brighter, and yeah, kind of happy with where things are at the minute. I don't know whether it's got anything to do with those two new water conditioners that I've started using, whether it's since I changed the carbon in the big blue or dropped the temperature, but yeah, the fish are living their best life at the minute. They're definitely looking happier. But anyway, that being said, folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. My last video was UK koi pond harvest. I don't know whether you got the chance to see it, but if you didn't, I will pop a link to it at the end of this video. Make sure and go and check it out. Daryl's place over at Koi Heaven. It was an absolutely awesome weekend. Really enjoyed myself. So that being said, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video.